Hey, welcome. This is Cocktails and Counterspells. This is a show now thing where we drink cocktails or just alcohol in general and talk the shit, shoot the shit, talk shit, do weird things to do with magic and all magic related things. In the realm of magic. Magic the Gathering, that is, not just like sleight of hand. Because I cannot do that. I don't know about the rest of you.
No.
But yes, welcome to this show podcast thing that we are doing. This is the first episode. You will understand as this goes on that this is definitely the first episode. But yeah, this is just three friends, magic players of different levels, just talking shit about magic, like in a positive way, because we love magic and we just like chatting about it and going off on weird rambling tangents and deep diving weird little bits of lore and knowledge and expanding Hailey's mind beyond mono black. That's about right.
Oh, that remains to be seen if I'll be swayed, but I'll keep an open mind, an open heart, and an open tab.
Fair. I like
it. In due time.
Yeah. Whilst this is our first episode and kind of anyone watching, you have no clue who we are. So we should probably introduce ourselves and kind of use this time to give you a bit of background on who we are, what we do, where we're at, what we're up to, and why we're doing this shit. I guess I'll go first because I'm still talking. So, hi.
Do you want to roll to see who goes first?
I have literally no dice on me. Fuck it. Yeah, so I'm Danny. I'm CheckForTraps. You should know that because this is the channel. I'm from England. I'm from the UK. I'm a project manager in the gaming industry. I do things and stuff, and yeah, I like magic. I've been playing for a little bit. That's me. Who's next?
I'll go next. Hi, I'm Hailey. You can find me at Hailey M. Schumacher on any socials. I work in the clandestine publishing world in the US. Kind of a weird place to be. I'm also the unofficial bartender who kind of crafts whatever drinks that we have today. Today we are having the Prosper. Most of my drinks will be based off of legendary creatures, and then we can tell you about that cocktail later. But I am the newest to Magic, so my personal growth on this little adventure is just to learn more.
Hell yeah.
Nice, pretty good. Well, my name's Dan. I only have an Instagram. My Instagram is roadkill, but with an E instead of an A. I don't really post on it anymore, though, so maybe I will in the future. I don't know. I just kind of hate Instagram now. Because I'm an artist. I make art. My full-time job is working for a sticker company, but that's where my both usage and hatred of Instagram comes from. Anyways, I have been playing Magic for a really long time. I started in like 2001, and I've been trying to rope as many of my friends into it as humanly possible. So I can probably claim Hailey, at least for now. But yeah, I love Magic. It's like all I do and think about when I'm not making art or working, for sure.
Hell yeah, same. Even when I am working, I'm doing something to do with magic all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. Why not? Why not?
It has wormed its way into my brain of like, but what if I did this like randomly because I'm in the middle of the day? I'm like, I should be working right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I started using the notes app on my phone to be like, deck idea. Like 12 minutes later, I've got like a paragraph or two, and I'm like, oh shit, what was I doing?
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's who we are. This show is literally just us hanging out, having a drink, and talking magic. And you know, when we get the chance to hang out, we do, and we'll talk about stuff, and we'll try and do some current event stuff in the world of magic, and talk about what's been going on before we record, and what's new and what's coming out, and like what we're excited for, and shit like that. But it's mainly just us talking shit and just kind of hanging out. So if you're still watching, you know, sit back, relax, grab a drink, and enjoy. Sleeve a deck while you're watching, you know, it's always a fun thing to do.
Perfect audio background.
Yeah,
for
very
sleeping.
productive.
Oh, yeah.
Mindlessly, you'll find yourself 100 cards deep, and you're like, oh.
Exactly. But to give a little structure to this kind of first episode, we might as well kind of introduce everyone to our journey, shall we say. I'll use that as a safer word than what I was going to say. Our journey into Magic. And I guess we'll start with Dan, because you've been playing the longest.
Yeah. You did claim.
Sure, yeah.
Yes.
No problem.
So,
my dog's here now.
Hell yeah.
You can't see her. She's on the floor.
Oh,
June, say hi. She's going to want to leave the room exactly in 30 seconds. She just doesn't like it when the door's closed. Here, we can go like this.
That's
There we go.
cat mentality.
definitely.
Yeah, she's pretty silly. Yeah, sorry. So, I was actually trying to think about this the other day because it's come up a few times that like I've been playing Magic for like 20 years, which sounds kind of crazy when you say it out loud. And I haven't played like consistently the whole time. I've definitely like taken some breaks. Like I didn't play that much when I went to college. I had like a few years where I like sold my collection, so I haven't been like nose to the grindstone magic since 2001. But I do remember the first cards I ever got were in a starter deck. Back when they used to make these, they would like release a set and then release a few starter decks that were themed. And my mom bought me one. I can't remember if I asked for it, if she just got it, or like one of my friends played and then her mom or his mom told her or something. But anyways, it was from the Torment set, and it was like red black nightmares with Chainer Dementia Master. That was like the point of the deck. And so I had this like, it was fine. It was definitely not good, but like the nightmares were so fucking cool. I was like, this game rules. There are monsters. The one I remember the most, I'm gonna go like this because this is what it looks like. A Faceless Butcher, coolest card ever. I'll never forget it. Not very good, but pretty cool.
You cannot have that on hand, Danny. Like, oh, here's this
Hold,
card he's
please.
referencing from Progressive Blood.
I literally like
I bet.
what you're talking about is half my Toxtrol deck, which is right in front of me. Like it's
Well, yeah, it's got a lot of nightmares in it, right?
Nightmares. Yeah. Where's the Faceless Butcher? I have it.
Nasty slug, man.
Toxtrol's fine. Toxtrol's chill. Don't be mad.
Yeah, so that was like and I had one friend who I played with at the time. And I was probably, oh yeah, there it is. See? I told you.
Cool dude.
Spatchcock chicken.
Exactly. So yeah, like the first probably few years I played, it was all kitchen table Magic. I didn't even know all the rules. None of the formatting mattered. We used to play a house rule called Fill Up, where if you ran out of cards in your hand, you drew a full 7. So you were like massively incentivized to play aggro, which I didn't realize until like way later. But yeah, it was super fun. I just like liked the cards were cool. The game was kind of fun. And I just have always liked monsters. So it was like, all right, this game has monsters. I like it. And then it kind of grew from there. I never really played any of like the constructed formats that much. Like I didn't really play standard because I wasn't super into having to like redo my collection constantly to have competitive decks. So that's why I kept playing kitchen table Magic, where the rules didn't really matter that much. The downside of that was like learning about strong decks and strategies I didn't like the hard way. Like I have a visceral reaction to like counterspells because I didn't know what that was. Thought I was going to win the game, and my friend at the time was like, I'm going to counter that. And I was like, what the goddamn fuck did you just say you're going to do? So yeah, and that kind of, I don't know, over time it kind of evolved. I learned about Commander back when it was EDH. I made my first Commander deck in like 2006 or something, which I still have. That's like the Green Lands deck. That's still one of my favorites. I'll never take it apart. I don't think I can. But like the reason I like Magic is for the variety of it. And so like Commander was great because you have 100 cards and it's all singleton. But you know, And it's been really cool, at least for me, to watch like that aspect of the format grow. Because when I started playing, it wasn't as popular, and so I would only play with like my brother and a couple of my friends. But now it's like we can hop on Discord and play. Like you can go on Spell Table and play. Like Brawl exists in Arena now. I don't know if that's even part of the question anymore, but that's how this is how I started. Like the way I started, I feel like is the way I still play, which is that I just like the cool monsters and I want to play the cool fucking monsters. Now I know the rules, thankfully, but it's still the same. I just want to do cool things and watch people do cool things.
Yeah, that's what I'm about as well. As if my Toxel deck is literally half of your entry into
It probably is. Like any of those Torment, Judgment, Nightmares, that was like the whole deck.
Yeah.
The only problem is you don't have the red ones. The red Nightmares were the coolest, but they were so fucking stupid. Like they removed lands from the game temporarily instead of creatures.
I love stuff like that.
But I'm sorry, you were mad that someone counterspelled you, but you're sitting there being like, you don't have any lands that you can play to tap anything.
I like literally didn't know that was bad. I didn't even know, you know? It's like, I can't even remember actually even doing it. I just know the card. So I know what the card does, and I'm like, I must have done that, but I don't know what I did with it.
Shocking.
Well, was it a shock when you like first played like outside of like your like friend community of like kitchen tables? Like if you went to a local game store and like you learned the rules and you were like, oh, countering, but then you're like, oh, there are more rules and more things.
Well,
playing against a stranger.
I am biased, obviously, because this is my experience that I thought was crazy. But at the time, one of the strong standard decks was called a burial deck, and it was when Entomb was standard legal, and so like you would Entomb in a Chroma, the 9 mana one that has every keyword, and then like a couple turns later, you would use a Reanimator spell to pull it out of your graveyard. And so like I'm playing with like my Nightmare starter deck, and this fucking guy I've never met in my life is like, I'm gonna cast a turn 1 Entomb, and I'm like, I don't know why you would do that. And then 2 turns later, I'm getting attacked by a fucking Chroma that costs 9 mana. I'm like, well, I know what that does. I don't understand what happened, but I know that I'm dying. And so that was like definitely a shock. And it wasn't even just the rules, it was just like a play style and like a deck thing. I'm like, I didn't know you could do any of that shit. I didn't even know those cards existed.
Yeah. You were like, I'm right out the box.
Yeah. Crazy.
Nice. I like that. Yeah. I've definitely done that where I've like bought a pre-con like early on in my adventure in Magic. I bought like a pre-con and then played it against someone that knows how to play Magic, and I'm like, I'm gonna play this land, I'm gonna tap it, and I'm gonna play this thing, and it's like I now have this one enchantment that does nothing for at least 12 turns, but it's there on the board, and I'm cool because I did that. And I look at, and then I'm like, and I pass turn, and then I'm dead by the time it gets back to my turn because they've fucking mana vaulted, a soul ring, a fucking signet, and everything.
Step 1, step 1A, then step 1B, subsection C. Yeah, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Still B. What a great segue for you to talk about how you got into Magic, Danny.
Exactly, yeah. So I still class myself as a newbie to Magic. Maybe not as new as you, Hailey, but yeah, I'm still a newbie. Like I first picked up Magic cards in 2018. So I first bought any. I didn't start playing until like 2020-ish.
Nice.
But I bought cards because like, oh, this looks interesting. It's by the same people that do D&D, and I really like D&D, so I'll get it and see what it's about. And then they went onto a shelf. And they sat there. And then maybe a year later, I bought more. I bought a Core 19... I think it was a fat pack then. Well, it might still be a bundle, but I bought that. I was like, oh, these look really cool. Some really nice things in there. And they went on a shelf, and I like the artwork, and they just sat on the shelf. And then 2020, I started getting more, and there's oh, actually, what the fuck are these cards? Why are they sat there? What do I do with them? So I started looking and playing a little bit, and I was playing standard. But not standard because I'm sure some cards had already cycled out by that point. So I was just playing whatever the hell the format is called now. I don't know. I play Commander.
Yeah.
Is it Legacy? Is Legacy just a catch-all for everything these days? Or is that historic? Or I don't know. Is it modern? Whatever. The one-on-one version where you have 20 life. That's what I played.
Yeah.
I played that a little bit and I was like, oh, this is fun. This is cool. And then I got completely destroyed by someone. I was like, okay, this isn't fun. This isn't cool. Fuck it. And then I stopped again for a little bit, and then I think it was late 2021, like probably when Crimson Vow came out. I picked up a ton of sets then and started playing with like Bree and Nate and a few friends online, just using webcams and building decks. And then I started like looking into the story behind Magic and the story behind the set, and then the story behind other sets and the artwork. And then I started deep diving YouTube lore videos, and now I know really obscure lore about random characters in Magic the Gathering, and I share that with everyone and go, oh, look at this cool little thing. Did you know this? Did you know about that? Did you know that the crown Liliana wears is actually the Angel of Tithe's crown, but she killed her and stole it? And did you know that? Well, yeah, that's the thing. Just shit like that. And yeah, I really got into, I probably say, yeah, I really got into collecting in 2021 at the end. And now I have no money because that's all I do is buy cards to collect. Because I really like the artwork. Like, I love playing Magic, and I love playing Commander because I really like the communal aspect of Commander, whereas it's not, it's less I'm playing a PvP game against someone who I have no cares about. I give no fucks about. I just want to destroy their deck. No, I like Commander because I like to talk shit with my friends about my friends and about their decks. And then whilst talking shit about them, get them to ally with me so that I don't die. Which, Hailey, you'll realise this is my strategy. Because I keep
hearing this word strategy, and like, is that important?
You know.
Nah, just play cards.
Yeah, we're all teammates until we're not. It's fine.
Rectangle theory.
No, we're all teammates, we're all opponents. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love playing Magic, and I love collecting because I'm just a massive art nerd for Magic, I guess. Like, there's what, like 20 to 50,000 cards, and they all have unique artwork. It's ridiculous. Like, who's got time to pick all that?
There's so many.
Yeah, but they're just so nice. So I really got into collecting, 2021 onwards, and now I play Commander and a little bit of Legacy or 1v1 20 life, whatever game that is, from every set. And yeah, I just really like it. And I'm a heavy mono black player because hell yeah, death and destruction and everything grimdark. What's about?
Great unifier.
Yes. Yeah, but that's me. That's kind of where I'm at. I class myself as a newbie because I don't know. I don't play as often as I would like, but I'm always like every day something Magic related is going on in my brain. So intermediate newbie, that's me. So Hailey,
Well,
we're all
then.
looking at you.
Then I'm but a thought. Yeah, so I, for a little backstory, mostly my big nerd hobby is D&D. So that was kind of my prologue into this, because I taught Dan how to play D&D kind of before I got into Magic. And then I went to go visit Dan last year. So I started officially playing last year, early in the year 2023, when I went to go visit Dan out in the West Coast. And he was like, hey, you taught me D&D. Do you want to learn how to like play Magic? He was like, you don't have to. He's like, I just want you to like, you taught me a nerdy thing, I'll teach you my nerdy thing. And I was like, yeah, okay, dude, that's fine. And so you can definitely chime in if I get any of this wrong, Dan. You made like all of these I think they were standard decks of like each mono color. You made a deck of each mono color. It was kind of like, welcome to Magic the Gathering. Like,
yeah, they were just 60 card decks, following like constructed rules, but they were not like, the formats didn't really matter. I just thought like starting with Commander is too hard because there are too many cards and too many rules. So they were like very straightforward. This is what the color does. Like all the red was aggro, all the green was stompy, all the blue was bullshit. So they were all single color. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's okay, because it did remind me that we did do an attempt during quarantine lockdown. Like I had a friend who bought me a Commander deck thinking that like Magic the Gathering was D&D, and they're like, oh, you like this? And I was like, thank you. So Dan taught me on this like pre-constructed Commander deck, and it was like a blink and then you miss it experience. But he planted the seed so that when in 2023, when I went to go visit him, we played, and I was like, oh, and he was like, you know, like, if you don't like it, you don't have to like it. And I was like, no, it's cool, dude. I'm having fun. And then I was on the plane back from visiting him to get back to the East Coast, and I literally ordered like a booster set of Strixhaven. So I was like, yeah, I'll learn more about this. So I bought that because at the time I was running a Strixhaven game. So I was like, oh, that'll be like my synergy of my main nerdy hobby. So I made a very crappy like commander deck, like as exercise, and it was based off of like Killian. It was a white and black deck, and terrible. I don't even I shudder to think about what cards were in there because I had no idea what I was doing. I barely had enough cards to make a 100 card deck.
Yeah.
But it most certainly was the antithesis because I think my favorite part of Magic so far is making decks. I get a funny idea. It's like a deck name or a deck card where I'm like, oh, this is hilarious. But then I'm like, strategically, how can I make this joke idea be devastating at my skill level? But
Nice.
so right now I'm at this stage of like, I just really like deck making. They work. Some of them are a little janky, but I'm really in it for the heart of the cards right now, and I will get the experience as I go. But I do remember reaching out to Danny because I was like, oh, Danny knows Magic, and he talked about it, and I was like, hey, like I'm kind of getting into Magic now, and then immediately was like, what's this in your deck? Put a soul ring. What's going on here? What's happening? And I was like, oh. So I had my two foster dads of Magic teaching me.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, and I was like, whoa. It was an awakening.
Yeah. I think when you messaged me about it, I was like, oh, amazing. I just word vomited paragraphs at you.
Yeah.
And I was like, there you go.
Yeah. You're just like, you
got it now.
You're like, I don't have any artifacts in my deck. I was like, why? What? It's like, you need this, you need this, you need this. Why have you not got this? Everyone has this.
I didn't know. I was a baby. As I said, I was pre-baby. I was but a thought.
Yep.
And look at me now. Now I'm a baby. Matured.
A real baby.
But yeah, I will say, like, I'm kind of curious, like, Dan, you said your first deck that you, like, actively made was a land deck. I don't really want to talk about, you know, that Silver Quail deck I made.
Yeah.
My first deck in my mind and in my Hailey canon is my my zombie Gisa and Geralf deck.
Yeah.
That's my origin point. What was your first deck, Danny? Like, first commander deck where you're like, it's not cringy. Does it still exist?
It does, but it is vastly different to what it was when I started.
Yeah.
I think it was my Krav and Regna deck. My partner commander Angel and Demon one. Yeah. That was the first one, like, because I'd bought a few precons, but that was the first one I built myself. And I had this whole, like, Dan Brown Angels versus Demons thing, and then I just filled it with half Angels, half Demons, and I was like, yeah, I'll do.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, they don't work together. They literally do not work together. I was like, okay. So then I've kind of edited it heavily since then. But I'm planning on completely ripping it apart now. Because I'm using a lot of the stuff for the new deck that we've been.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So,
yeah, it's funny. I feel like I kind of do the storytelling aspect of deck building is something I really enjoy also. And so it's funny that you both do that, and then it's like you find when it doesn't work, and you're like, fuck, now I gotta make a new deck.
Yeah. Most of my like Hailey, like you were saying, like with themes and ideas, like you want to make, you've got an idea, and you don't care if it becomes like a jank deck. That's literally. Most of my decks start with like, oh, here's a cool story idea and a story that's built into the deck. So let's build something around it. But yeah, work.
Counterpoint to that, you have cool ideas. I have chaotic meme ideas where I go.
I don't know.
They're pretty good though. And also, like, the moment it's like, I was over this holiday season, I went back to my parents' house. I was playing with my brother and his friend Nolan, who we used to play with in high school. And when we taught him how to play and this other kid, him and this other kid, they got like super into it, which is great because then they played with us all the time. But they were like standard grinders. Like they would go to like Pro Tour qualifiers and stuff. So then they would bring their decks over to our kitchen table and beat the shit out of us. But anyways, he's like gotten to the point where like he sets side quests for himself for games. So like we were playing this game and I'm like, are you gonna kill me? And he's like, no, I really, really want to do this thing. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to kill you if you don't kill me. And he's like, all right, you try to kill me, I'm going to try to do the thing. And it's like hilarious. He has like literally like a list in his phone of like these side quests for himself. So I feel like that could easily be a thing in like your janky, you know, whatever you think is your janky deck. Like if I get to do this and this, I win in my mind, and that's good enough for me.
So far that I've achieved that. I feel I can relate to that. I mean, I haven't. So I started in 2023, early 2023, but I have only really started playing consistently the past few months. So like,
yeah,
it was a lot of like, I knew of Magic in theory, and now I get to do the practical application of actually playing games. But I've already, the very few games that I've played, like I'm like, how many times have I taken myself out first before someone could take me out, just to be like, I'm out. If I know I can't survive another round, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna do this and this, and I've KO'd myself, but I've also made all of this mess that you need to clean up. See you later. I've done that like 3 or 4 times with my limited experience. So
fun.
That's my playstyle.
Nice. All my decks I build. Like I don't build competitive decks because I like to play casual. Although a lot of my decks have weird little like win cons and funky engines and evil stuff in.
There's some spice. There's
a little bit of spice. I play because I play mono black in Eldrazi, so that's kind of sums me up. But like I'm not bothered about winning games as long as I get to pop off a fun little thing. That's my
totally.
thing. Yeah. I think my favorite one I did recently was with my Shieldred deck. So I run Shieldred the Apocalypse. It's one of the closest thing to a competitive deck I have. But the moment I play it, I'm enemy number 1, target number 1, because it's Shieldred the Apocalypse. But my favorite little thing, my little pop off that I did in that, my little side quest, was I managed to cast Merit Lage and give it Infect.
Yeah, that's
Because why not? Funny. Everyone loves Merit Lage because it's a 2020 flying indestructible or indestructible whatever, and everyone loves Infect. And when you cast Glistening, you enchant it with Glistening Oil, it becomes a 1919 with Infect, and it's like, there you go, deal with that.
Yeah, seems good enough.
Yeah.
So funny.
I was quite happy with that. That was a fun moment when everyone looked at it and went, what? And then I died next turn anyway, so hey, at least I got it out there.
It's me. You got to burn out bright. That's my objective.
Yeah,
I'm like, if I know, in the words of Marshawn Lynch, I know I'm gonna get got, but I'm gonna get mine first.
Unreal. He's a legend.
And that's the energy that I try to channel in my games.
Yeah. That's what, when I can't see you when we're playing and I can only see your hands in your deck, I'm imagining that you're Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, we're twins.
Yeah.
Philosophically.
So,
oh no.
So speaking of favorite things we like to do, I'm going to segue to a topic that was on my list that we have not been looking at. I mentioned I play mono black and I play Eldrazi, so I play colorless. I play other colors as well, predominantly black, colorless, with a little bit of other things, less so red. I don't play a lot of red. But I would say black and colorless are my favorite to play. Dan, what colors, what combos, what's your favorite kind of color sets?
At this point, because I have been playing and making decks for so long, I have decks that represent a lot of like all the colors, but there are like color pairs and wedges that I don't like. But to answer your question, green is my favorite color. Even though I started with black and red, and the first like deck I actually built was black and whites. I remember very specifically playing against someone who played a Crozen Cloud Scraper against me, which is like this green card from Onslaught, costs like 10 mana or something, and it has an upkeep cost, which is a 13/13, and I was like, What? You can get them
Keep
that
those
big?
numbers? Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like Mary and Pippin at the Prancing Pony, be like, they come in pints? Like, they come in 13s? And so then from there, I was like, well, okay, green is probably cool. And then, yeah, the first commander deck I built was mono green. I have another mono green deck. And I would say out of all of my decks, green is definitely like the most represented. I think green is also very good in commander generally, which probably has something to do with it. But they're just big monsters, which is so fun. But after green, I really like black also. I have lately been getting kind of away from black a little bit though, because it feels bad to me sometimes. Like all of my black decks run like shitloads of removal, because like that's one of the things black is really good at. Which for a long time, my commander experience was playing 1v1 because I didn't have like a group to play with. And so I had to have a lot of removal because like one thing could like take the game away from me basically. And so I've been slowly like pairing my removal black back, which has been making my black-ish decks less black. But I still like the big monsters. Like my latest project in Moxfield is like building a mono black deck that I would have wanted to have when I was like 12 when I started playing.
Okay.
It's so ridiculous. I can't wait to test it out. It's gonna be so fucking stupid. But those are probably my top two. I don't like red by itself necessarily, but black, green, and red together is my favorite like 3-color pair. I fucking love Jund. It's just like the same thing. It's like big monsters that fuck shit up. White and blue are definitely my least favorites, especially together. They're like fucking cops. It's like, why would you want to be the cops? I don't want to be the cops.
Yeah.
But otherwise, on their own, they're kind of fun. Like I definitely do I have some blue and white things that I enjoy, but when you put them together, they're just the fun police.
Unless you're playing them together, then you're having fun. Just no one else
exactly.
is.
Which yeah. Which I think, and that's interesting. That's like on Arena, I would definitely do that. Sweaty, gross fun police, absolutely, just to fuck up somebody's day. But like in person, you like have to look at the person in the eyes and be the fun police. I don't want to do that. Cast your spells. I don't care.
Nice. You're really not going to enjoy my new deck.
No, probably not.
It's a little fun policey. But only on the white side. It's also of. It's not all. But well.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. There are things that I don't like that I'm never gonna like, and some of it, I think I was telling you this the other day. Like, part of the reason I don't like blue and white is because my friend who I played with a lot in high school, he was really into blue and white. He fucking loves control decks, but he also was like learning from other people, and then like filtering the information to me so that he could beat the shit out of me with the stuff I didn't fully understand, which is fine. You can do that if you want. And so like control, prison, stacks, those are all his favorite things. And I'm like, I can't play. I want to play.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah. Hailey, what about you?
I feel like I'm still in like my learning experimental phase, so like things are starting to solidify. I mean, I start with what I hate so I can not hound on it. I dislike mono green. It's probably my like the least appealing for me, but then I do like green and pairings over other colors and pairings. So it's kind of weird how like the minute you start to like expand what kind of mono combinations that you're doing, how your opinion can change so drastically. Because I just like mono green, but I have a deck that I love that is white and green, and it's like one of my favorites now. And then I just built. Yeah, it is. I love it. And then I just am experimenting with like a black and green deck. So I think that's also part of the appeal of it for me, to like be like something that I dislike in one sort of like mindset, I can end up loving the minute I like add something else into. I mean, black features heavily in all of my decks as well. Though I have noticed a trend where like I have a lot of black, but I also am starting to like kind of creep up. I have a lot of white and I have a lot of red. Like blue is almost non-existent outside of my zombie deck. And in my zombie deck, there's barely any blue elements to it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I So I'm kind of operating in black. Black is at the top of the pyramid, and I got a lot of white and red that's kind of sneaking its way in.
I get that. Yeah.
I went from being like, I'm too afraid to do anything, I'm gonna keep building my board because I don't know the rules, to being like, all of my decks are kind of very single-mindedly aggressive, or that's the theme. Like I have 2 different like +1/+1 counter aggro decks. I have another deck that I'm building, which is a Mardu deck called Horse Girl, which is going to be all like aggressive equipment, like just like attack.
Nice.
So it's so funny.
It's kind of interesting to see. I don't really think too much about like, oh, I got to do a board wipe or I got to do this. I'm like, no, how do I get big?
Yeah.
How do I do this without being green? How do I get big? But I mean, it's, for me, I still feel like it's evolving, but that's kind of where I'm currently at. The things that appeal to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Danny said before, there's like a million cards. It takes a really long time to like even look at them all, and then you have to play them to see if you like them. So like, it takes a really long time.
Yeah.
To figure out what you even like find fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm still finding cards now. Again, my entry is still relatively brief in the long term, but I'm still finding cards now for colors that I wouldn't normally play. I'm now seeing cards, like older cards and newer ones coming out. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. I could work that with that. That might be fun. And I'm like, okay, that's now 3 new decks I need to build based on this one new card I found, because I could use it in 3 different ways.
Right.
And stuff. And it's like, I'm still finding new mechanics in games, like in cards.
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
like, okay, what does this do? You know? I'm like, okay, now I need to work out what first strike means. No, I know what that means. That's the joke. But stuff like Soulbound and
no, that's my
all
level.
these other little bits, and like I've not played many cards that have imprint. You know, imprint's a new thing for me that I've started looking at, and how I can best utilize that in stuff. But yeah, it's just so much. And then when you look at the older cards, they just have so much writing on them.
It's the thing about the older cards is like, so much of the writing is also not correct, because a lot of them have been like errata to fit modern rules. So it's like you read the card and it's like, you read the card, explains the card. It's like, no, the fuck it doesn't. Read the card, don't understand, go to the gatherer, read the card again, rewritten, then you understand.
Yeah. Check which printing you have. Is it pre or post errata?
Totally.
And then which artwork do you prefer, pre or post?
Yes.
That's what depends.
Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. It's fun. It's a fun game, guys.
It is really fun. I think it's the most fun game.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. It's a weird, like, yes, we're playing a very nerdy game where it's like, oh, monsters and spells and magic, but I'm like, strategically, I sometimes feel like if I'm building a deck, I'm like, oh, this is my version of Sudoku. Like, I'm stretching my brain to figure out
definitely.
It's my nerdy crossword puzzle project that I give myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
In a way that D&D doesn't feel. D&D is way more creative.
Right.
Whereas Magic has just enough sort of that like right brain for me to be like, oh, I'm so smart today.
Yeah.
And then I look at my deck and I'm like, maybe not, but you know, we'll look at it tomorrow with a fresh set of eyes.
My creative side is like, what can I name this deck on Moxfield? Like, what's a fun name for this deck on Moxfield?
Oh, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, Hailey, you inspired me. I name all my decks the commander names because for some reason I never name my decks, but I started putting like the subtitle is a thing. It's never like an interesting name, but it's like a thing that's not the name of the commander, which is like a new thing for me to try.
None of my decks are named after their commander. I think if you read them, no one would understand what the hell that they're gonna be in for if they were ever to play me in a deck. I have one called like Elmo on Fire.
Yeah.
Would you still love me if I was a worm? My favorite though, after Dan told me the lore about these elves, because I made a Bogari elf deck where it says crime, ugly, punishment, death. You wouldn't know what that means though if you actually rolled up against me like randomly out on the streets.
Nice.
The
Yeah,
magic.
I hope that's how you refer to them in public too. Like you sit down at a table with a bunch of randos and they're like, "Oh, what do you got?" You're like, "Oh, I have my horse girl deck," and they're like,
No,
"Okay."
that is exactly how I intend to introduce my decks. Yeah,
Amazing.
it's
Yeah.
that's sometimes I will have that idea first, and I'm like, well, now I gotta figure out, like, reverse engineer. How am I gonna make a good deck for this? That's why
Right.
it's a brain teaser for me.
Yeah, I've definitely done that. Like, I think the deck name I'm most proudest of, I got from a Vine. Now that's saying my age.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, and the name of the deck is "And I Brought You Murder Judas," because it's my
That's
Urtet Remnant of Memnite deck. So it's just all Mur.
That's
so
hilarious.
That's my favorite.
I mean, as an official meme deck builder, I love it.
Stamp of approval.
Yeah,
My one achievement.
it's gone through the quality
That's awesome.
assurance. Beautiful.
But yeah, I do love deck building. Like you're saying, Hailey. Like,
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite things outside of just playing the game and losing all my money buying cards is deck building, and just building funky decks. That's what it's about. Like, get a weird idea, then hyperfixate for like 3 hours building it on Moxfield, and then play it once. Go, nope, that was shit. Never mind. Next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Moxfield account is a fucking wasteland. It's like I own like 12 decks, and I have like 14 decks that I've built in Moxfield that are kind of cool, and I'm like testing. And then I have like 30 decks that are in a category called no thanks.
But they're still there. You won't delete them.
Oh, they're still there. No, of course not. Because you never know.
You never know.
They print a couple good cards, and then that deck doesn't suck anymore. I don't know.
The next set print, you're like, this was it. This is what I needed, the Holy
Yeah.
Grail. This is what's gonna bring it all together.
Exactly.
Do-do-do-do-do. That woman doing the math meme.
Yeah.
So you have 12 decks built currently?
Yeah.
Oof.
It's
Real life
too many,
paper
probably.
paper cards. Well, I mean, again,
Real life
2001.
paper cards.
2001 speaking here.
Nice.
How many
many.
do you have fully constructed, Danny? Like,
13 commander, fully built paper cards, and I have one
Yes, more than me.
yeah, I know.
and one legacy deck that I bought like as a bulk buy of stuff on eBay. And it turned out there's a really cool, horrendous mono black little like old school standard deck in there. I'm like, I will keep that and I will keep it as is and play it. And it turns out it is evil. And I love it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I have 13 fully made commander decks. I'm currently building physically. I have one that I'm actively building, and then I've got like another 15 ideas.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Moxfield ideas.
Mhm.
One's a Golgari spider deck. That's
So is the Shelob?
yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
fucked up.
But
Well, are you surprised?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I have one in my Moxfield too, if I'm being totally honest. Of course.
obviously.
How could you not?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
of course.
But it's not just spiders, because I thought, like, you know, it's Shelob, it's Lord of the Rings, so I've called it Mirkwood Dreams, and
Nice, yeah.
Nightmares.
it's spiders and elves. So like the two things you don't want to put together, spiders and elves.
Yeah.
Because fuck
I
elves.
like it.
Elves are just horrendous. I hate elves and I hate angels, and I'm building decks that have elves and angels in, because I always get destroyed by OP angels and OP elves.
That's literally how it happens. I'm telling you. You get your ass kicked one time, you build the deck, and you're like, ah, fuck, this is cool. And then like 10 years later, it's like your favorite deck. You're like, why did I build this? You forget.
Trauma.
Forget about that person who beat your ass.
This is my trauma deck.
Yeah. I play this
Yeah,
deck as part
that's
of my
awesome.
therapy. To get
Yeah.
over it.
I'm working through my feelings on this deck.
But yeah.
I'm way behind. I have 4.
Yeah.
I have 4. Well, I have a 5th one in the mail. Like, I have most of it, and I legendarily just said buy now and for the rest of the cards. So I have 5. Though almost 6. I'll have another deck shortly.
Oh yeah, I wasn't counting that one. I have a technically.
Yeah.
I don't think. Hold on. If I turn my camera a little bit, you can see the deck box. Right. Hold on. Right there.
Yeah, I have. So I'll have
Deck with your name on it.
Yeah, Dan and I are gonna. We built surprise decks for each other's. We're gonna trade them when we see each other in Chicago for MagicCon this year. So yeah, in a little over a month, you'll have the monstrosity that I've created. I can't wait.
I can't wait. It's gonna be so fun.
I laugh. I cry. It's the best.
Yeah, I actually, I'll have to send it to Danny because I can't send it to you, but I've been working on the art I've been making for your sleeves for your deck. I think it's so fucking funny.
All right, Danny's gonna be our mediator because I will also. I'm gonna send Danny my deck list for you. I also made custom tokens for it.
Ah, yes.
So yeah, Danny's gonna be the secret keeper until February 22nd.
Yes. And I'll be very jealous looking at both of them and being like, I'm not going to be at MagicCon Chicago. That sucks. But I am going to Amsterdam.
One day.
I'm going to MagicCon Amsterdam.
Oh, nice. You're going to go?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, one day we'll have to find a MagicCon we can all go to. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I know. If only we knew about Magic. I mean, because I think Philadelphia is probably the most central. Because I'm central to both of you. Because I'm
right. Yeah.
Technically
on the East Coast.
Yeah. So it was in Philly last fall, but I had only I was just a budding Magic player, and at the time I was like, oh no.
Just finding secret stream impacts online.
Yeah.
We could just all spring for Vegas.
Vegas, I will say, is
Vegas would be pretty fun.
It's so fun, but Vegas is so expensive.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Magic,
I thought, yeah, this is true. You know what? Commit to it.
Right. Yeah.
Same but different.
I'll be taking out of my 401k. Thank you so much.
I will just remortgage my house and we'll be there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, why are you doing this? They're like, well, it's about these rectangular paper cards that I need.
The rectangles, dude.
Yeah, it's always the sacred rectangles. All right, that just means that my 2024 resolution is to have more physical decks. Obviously.
Oh yeah.
I'll just have to catch up, you know.
I mean,
yeah, I will say though, the trap is then you have to play them all. Like that's how you end up playing for like 14 hours in a row because you're like, well, I haven't played all my decks yet. I need to play one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I operate always from a place of guilt, so I need more decks so that you guys can play against variety, so you're not just playing against.
True.
So, you know.
That's a really good point, actually.
I'm really just being selfless. It's not for me to have these decks. And I'll explain.
It's so funny because that's literally what you said to me the other day. You were like, I want to have more decks for you to play against, and I was like, what?
Yeah. Anything that's logical, I say, well, counterspell to that. It's going to be the reverse. Reverse logic, always.
Always. We don't need that.
No, get out of here.
I don't think you'll ever catch up to me because I keep making decks, and I don't mean to, but I just keep doing it. And then I think my plan for me is I want to play every one of the decks I currently have on Mana Maelstrom, for those watching, that's one of our other shows. Play every single deck on Mana Maelstrom and then start breaking them down afterwards. So they get like one public outing and then I destroy them to build a new deck.
That sounds kind of fun.
Yeah. That does sound cool. What if you have...
Unless I really like the deck, then I keep it.
I was gonna say, because like I get sentimental about things that can't love me back. So I get sentimental about these decks where I'm like, I can't. I had this one core memory that I attached to this.
Thing is, though, I need to break decks down because
you should put them down.
No, I need to break them down.
I was like, so grim.
No, because the new deck I'm building, the Laisa Shroud of Dusk. On the list for that, I've got Avacyn, Angel of Hope in there, but I have a copy of Avacyn in my Kraven Ragnar deck, and there's no way I'm paying that much money to get a second copy of Avacyn. So I need to break that deck down so I can pull the cards I want from that one for this new deck. So I need to play it on Mana Maelstrom before I break it down, before I build my new deck.
It was a very funny coincidence that you said, "Oh, I'm building an angel deck," and I was like, "That's literally the deck I'm building as well too. Just very different styles." Yeah. So Dan, when can we expect your angel deck?
Well, I have one in Moxfields. The problem is that angels are so fucking expensive. So this is a thing I feel like I've gotten better at since I've played for a long time. Is like I have purchased too many cards to make bad decks and then regretted it. So now I like actually test my decks in Moxfields before I buy them, especially when they're expensive. And for whatever fucking reason, angels are so goddamn expensive. So, but mine's green and white, so it won't be this. It has white in common, obviously, because angels. But
well, there should be like an angel off because I'm white and red.
And
there should be like
well, I'll have to when I get it. We'll have to have an angel fight. Black, white, white, red.
Okay,
white,
well,
green.
if we're gonna do that, then I know someone we can bring in for a fourth who plays an angel deck that I fucking hate because it is competitive as fuck and it's a pre-con.
Nice.
So
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like an unedited pre-com?
I think it's slightly edited to the point where
is it the secret layer one?
No, yes, yeah, it might be.
Right, it's the fancy arts and stuff.
It might be
that one. That one's mono white, I think. That one's pretty good, actually.
I need to check with Bree. Bree's got it, but it's the Convoke one where it's all Convoke. It's all Convoke.
Yeah,
It's horrendous. Yeah. I know it's going to get worse because I sent her an Avacyn Angel of Hope, which she's going to add to it. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, we'll have to have an Angel.
We'll blame you.
Yeah.
You made this worse. You poured gasoline on the fire.
I thought I'd put it out. It's liquid.
It's a liquid.
I didn't know it was flammable.
So who is your theoretical angel commander, Dan?
Catilda.
I'm sorry,
Catilda Dawnheart Prime. Yeah, she's technically a human. She's a white and green human for white and green, and she makes it so your humans tap for mana. And so the theme of this is like a theme deck I made, and it's like humans and angels. So like the early game is playing a bunch of humans, which are not scary, and then all of a sudden angels. That's the plan. She was in the new Innistrad ones. I don't remember.
Midnight.
Well, I think she was in both because she was alive in the first one and then she was dead in the second one. But
nice.
But she's like the witch cult people in Innistrad, which I thought was sick also.
Interesting. She has protection from werewolves.
Yeah, ramp in the command zone.
Very handy.
Yeah.
Very handy in an angel deck.
You never know when that's gonna come up.
I mean, it's true. True.
Yeah, I tried really hard to make that an Abzan deck because I really wanted to play. I can't remember the name of the card. It's a black and white angel that destroys a permanent when it enters the battlefield. That was like a card when I was younger.
Is it Desolation?
And I thought it was really cool.
Desolation Angel?
Maybe. I'll look it up for you. No. Hold on. I'll find it. But I don't know. I just couldn't figure out. The problem was there wasn't like a thematically appropriate commander, in my opinion, for black, green, and white angels. And so then I was like, well, Catilda's funny, and humans making angels is like appropriate. It seems to me. So that's another deck that could easily change if they release like a 3-color angel commander that's the right colors. Catilda's out, humans are gone, it's all angels.
Nice. Actually, Desolation Angel, I just looked it up, is worse than what I thought it was. I do remember that.
But wait, it's worse.
So yeah.
What is the name of this card?
Desolation Angel is 3 and 2 black for a 5/4 angel. It's got kicker, 2 white, flying. When Desolation Angel comes into play, destroy all lands you control. If you pay the kicker, destroy all lands instead.
So is that going into your angel deck? Or are you making an edit?
It's already in my Kraven regular deck, it turns out. I just forgot about it.
The one I was thinking of is Angel of Despair. So not as bad as that.
No, definitely not. I also have Angel of Despair. Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, it's pretty
that's a good
cool.
one.
I like it. I was like,
Uh,
and that was like another. This happens to me when I'm deck building all the time, where I'm like, I want to make a deck. Here's like the loose theme and the colors, and then I like have images in my mind of these cards that I thought were cool when I was like 14, and I'm like, hell yeah, I want to play Angel of Despair. And so I tried so hard to put black in this deck, and it just kept not working. And I was like, all right, fine, I won't play Angel of Despair, I guess.
Fair. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, well, because I know less cards like ahead of making a deck. I like use deck building to learn about the cards that are out there. So it's like interesting to hear. I mean, people who know more about Magic probably eventually make that switch, but I'm like, there are cards I won't know about until I'm like, oh, someone told me it'd be good for this deck, so now I know about it. And then I add it to the bowl. But I'm like,
For sure.
Yeah.
So I'm like, who's this? Who's that?
Yeah, I tend to screenshot a lot of cards on my phone or take pictures if I see them to remind me later for stuff. That's like my big thing. Or like on Instagram in the Explor, it's just all Magic now. But I'll see something, so I'll save it, and then I'll go back like a week later and go through, like, review what I've seen, and use them that way. What I tend to do. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many. It's crazy.
Definitely.
So we need to make more. So 2024, make more decks.
Make more decks.
Angel off. Buy every single card. Break.
Done.
Okay.
Easy money. Easy money.
I mean, I have a few.
I do have a couple of decks. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few cards. We're getting there.
I was thinking about, Danny, what you said earlier about having some decks that you're like in the process of building. I definitely have a couple that I have like half the cards for. That it just needs to be like, I'm waiting for like the TCG player sale or like a couple glasses of wine when Kate's not home to stop me, like to buy the rest of the cards.
Yes.
Or Magic on Chicago, because if you're unsupervised while you're there, you just go around all the traders.
Not only are you unsupervised, you are with someone who's gonna be like, oh no, you should get that. You should get that.
Reverse supervised, yeah.
You have hired a personal shopper to be like, yes, no, you should get that. You should 100% spend $500 on this single card.
We're gonna take turns. It's gonna be like, I'm gonna be like looking at the booth. You're gonna be behind me telling me to buy things, and then I'll buy something, and then I'll just like switch places.
Pretty much.
Yeah, get that. Yeah, get that one.
It's bad. It's bad. I knew that's what's gonna happen, so I've purposely saved money, called impulse bullshit money, because I know it's.
Oh yeah.
I'm already saving
I have
for
a fun as well.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's a good idea.
Yeah, who needs food?
Right.
No, I'm bored.
Yeah. One protein shake a day and you'll be fine. All you need.
There you go.
All hail the rectangular card, baby.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think now's a good time to bring this first episode to a wrap. But before we do, because there's one thing we have yet to do that is kind of one of the crux of this little podcast show we're doing, is for everyone watching, we have Hailey, our mixologist, for the show.
Water witch.
Yeah. For every episode, Hailey. In fact, you tell them what it is you're doing, and then you can explain what you have done.
Sure. So, I professionally am known as a water witch, crafting brews with little to no knowledge other than just the intuition of what I think is going to be a certified banger. I have heard from customer feedback that my approval rating is a near 100%. So, as your local and regional water witch, I have made a drink for Prosper Tomebound, which is actually one of the few decks that I have constructed. It is a bourbon-inspired beverage, so it's about 2 ounces of bourbon. It's a ginger liqueur, 5 ounces of that, 0.75 ounces of lemon juice, and 0.75 ounces of a honey-infused simple syrup. Optional, if you're feeling fancy, Prosper is known for exiling cards, so he's a little spicy, hence the ginger and bourbon. But if you want to feel fancy with all that treasure token generation, sprinkle in a little bit of edible gold glitter. to really make your Revel and Riches pop off in your deck. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm not here to make friends with this deck.
Amazing. And for those watching at home, here is the recipe on screen. Pause, write it down, screenshot it, take it now. This is your only chance, apart from when you watch this episode again, and it'll be back up on screen again. But yeah, so there will be a new cocktail as part of Cocktails and Counterspells every episode, created by Hailey and drank by everyone in the world is the plan. Yeah.
Consumed by all.
Consumed by all. That's the better saying.
Yeah, there you go.
English is not my forte after having a few drinks. But yeah, so for everyone watching, like, thanks for hanging out with us. I hope you have finished sleeving your deck now. I would presume so. We've been talking for about an hour. But yeah, this is Cocktails and Counterspells, our little hangout shit show of a tangent magic thing that we're going to be doing from now on. So thanks for joining us. Check us out on social media if you want to, if you're inclined that way. We're around. We've got all sorts going on, and we've got more shows on the channel as well, other things, so check those out. And yeah, we don't know how to end it yet because this is the first episode, so peace.
Cue freeform jazz. Boop, bop, bop, doo, bop, doo.